Hey guys, what's happening? Jock here and welcome to week 2 of our APA season. This week we face Scotty Dr Pepper or John and his Houston Rocketots. And this week we come up against Manectric, Tapu Fini, Mamoswine, Umbreon, Roserade, Aerodactyl, Stoutland, Mega Aggron, Latias, Infernape, Vivillon and Dusclops. And our team's the same as last week apart from we changed our Heracross for Hawlucha, just because Hawlucha sweeps every team on the planet. Like, looking at his team, I think Manectric is incredibly threatening because, like, other than Rhyperior, I don't really have a good electric switch in. Tapu Fini is just really fat because I don't have a grass type, and my electric type's a Lantern, and my poison type's a Toxapex, which don't really take down a Tapu Fini too well. Mamoswine's not very threatening to me. Umbreon could come just to bash wishes about. Again, I think I can deal with that pretty fine. Roserade, I don't really have switch-ins in. I've kind of come up with a switch-in, but even then it's not great. Aerodactyl possibly could come just because it outspeeds my entire team, apart from a Selgor, but Selgor doesn't do much to it, it beats a Selgor. Other than that, it's quite easily walled by a lot of my Pokemon. I don't see Stoutland coming because it can't break through a Skarmory, it can't break through a Toxapex. Mega Aggron, I see it probably coming just as it's part of his fat core, just to sort of stop like my Alakazam and stuff like that. Latias I could see coming because it's his only switch into Charizard Y. Infernape probably coming because fire types with ground coverage absolutely destroy my team. I don't see Vivillon coming and I don't see Dusclops coming. So because of that, getting into the team I built, we have this Shuckaberry Toxapex with Regenerator, Scald, Venoshock, Toxic Spikes and Recover. It has to be max HP, max defense with a Shuckaberry. Comfortable con Infernape because of it being a Z-Mon. I picked Z Earth as a way of breaking quick down, that's why I need the Shuckaberry and even the max defense. But, like, if we're not max HP, max defense, we can actually still die from a Z Earth. We have Scald just for general coverage. Because this walls Aerodactyl and Infernape, it hits them super effectively. The Toxic Spikes and the Venoshock are basically just there for Fini, because if these are down before Mystery Terrain's up, the Fini will still get poisoned, and then Venoshock doubles its damage and it goes up to about 35 to 40% and recovers just there, so that Toxapex can be fat and annoying. Next up we have our Charizard Y because switching doesn't really exist apart from the Latias, which after a Toxic doesn't really switch in too well. Blast and Solar Beam's the only coverage we need. And Roost. And outside of Latias, everything else gets like clean Oak Loader to it, killed by a Fire Blast and a Solar Beam. Roost just there because Zard's actually quite important. It's not the sort of thing I can just throw about, get 1 or 2 kills with and let it die. I feel like if I want to do well, I have to keep Zard healthy so that it can pick up 3, maybe 4 kills. And this EV spread is just enough to outspeed max speed Roserade, because he's got nothing between Roserade and like base 100, and the rest in sort of bulk with max special attack. Next up we have our Florges. This is my main answer to things like Manectric probably. It's one of the only things that can switch into Manectric. It also can take on Aerodactyl relatively well, it takes on Umbreon very well. It doesn't really struggle with Dusclops. Also, it's really my only answer to, like, if it does bring an offensive Latias, which I'm not expecting. But we have a bit of tech with the Grassy Terrain, along with Moonblast, Wish and Protect the Grassy Terrain, so that because Aggron has such a free switch into this, I could like make aggressive doubles into Zard Y, but he could start to learn that and go into Manectric or whatever. So tell the Grassy Terrain and then Toxapex just sits in front of it for forever. Like, it gives Toxapex some healing, which he doesn't have with the Shucker, and it stops Earthquakes doing anything to Toxapex. So the Grassy Terrain and Toxapex is a really nice combo. Next up we have our Cryogonal with Freeze Dry, Rapid Spin. That's meant to be Recover, it is Reflect. I did do the battle with Reflect, I didn't notice it first. It's meant to be Recover and then Light Speed. This is my answer to Roserade. It outspeeds max speed Timid Roserade. And the bulk, although it's a happy accident, Timid, Life Orb, Leaf Storm does 74%, so they work together really well. Just leftovers for the recovery because it's here. It takes on Manectric pretty well if it doesn't have the Overheat, which I don't think it would have the Overheat because it doesn't actually hit anything on my team. I have no Grass type and I wouldn't expect them to think this switch into it. maybe have like HP Ice, HP Grass, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, things like that. Obviously not the 2 HP Ice, 2 hidden powers, you can't have 2. Here we have Skarmory, Spikes, Stealth Rock, Roost and Ironhead. His setup threats weren't too scary to where I needed Whirlwind. I didn't feel, nothing here really sets up, like, I guess it could be Kami and Latias, which maybe could be slightly scary, but I didn't feel like Whirlwind was needed, which just let me throw on the Spike. We've got no defog because obviously Rapid Spin on Cryogonal, and the Ironhead because it's the best way to, it's only really here for an Aerodactyl because it could cause, like, Aerodactyl causes issues with everything, so just Ironhead being easy to pick KO. And last up we have our Alakazam. This is just a Sash Alakazam with Psychic, Energy Wheel, Shadow Ball and Encore. Encore just there for Encoring like Umbreon or Tiffany, like Defog or something like that, because it's like if I can Encore one of his Fat Core into something, Alakazam can then mainly Umbreon, if I can Encore it into something it doesn't want to do. He doesn't really have a switch in the Alakazam because I have coverage for everything else, so it can come in like, because this next especially defensive Pokemon like Tapu Fini, which takes like 30-40% from an energy ball, or Latias, which takes like 30-40% from the Shadow Ball, so they don't really want to be switching in. So that's the team, and we'll get into the battle right now. Right, that's us back in the battle, and as you can see, we've brought the team that we just went over in the team builder, and John has brought the Tapu Fini, Manectric, Infernape, Aggron, Umbreon and Aerodactyl. So coming into this, I was actually feeling really good because there was no Latias, so that I know that Zardwide basically gets a kill anytime it's in. There is no Roserade, so I can use Cryogonal a little bit more freely, like it's not very important if I wish sack it just for a spin or whatever. The Umbreon, which maybe I under-prepped for a little bit because I didn't think it was too great against my team, might be a bit of an issue, but between like Florges and Encore and Alakazam, big hits from Zardwide, we could probably deal with it pretty well. And so looking at the team, I was like, possibly it's just a fat Tapu Fini, I'm guessing, maybe with like Defog. I was thinking it's either Scarf Manectric with Life Orb. It's either Scarf Manectric with Z Earthquake Infernape or Life Orb Infernape, or it's Scarf Infernape with like a Life Orb Manectric. Both of those caused a lot of issues, but I expected one to be Scarfed and I didn't expect them both to be Scarfed. So it's just going to be a, well actually I thought it was an offensive Aggron because he used offensive Aggron last week, and it actually does a lot of damage to my team, like it clean 2-hit KOs basically everything apart from Toxapex, so it probably will be an offensive Mega Aggron. Umbreon will just be standard Wish Paths, and Aerodactyl is probably just enough speed to outspeed Alakazam, enough attack, like max attack, and it also causes a bit of problems because if I get a kill with Alakazam before Aerodactyl's dead, it can come in and pursuit trap me. My Alakazam's quite important. So we'll get into the battle, and expecting him to lead with Manectric, I just led with my Florges because I didn't want anything else taking the hits. Nothing else can take the hits really, and he just Volt Switches out as we get Moonblast. So I got my Grassy Terrain knowing that Aggron is a complete free switch in here, and I needed my get my Toxapex in without, and I know we pop the shock off, he does have the Earthquake, but Toxapex is the only switch in, and he goes for Stealth Rock here, and I think I set up my Toxic Spikes because I know I need to poison the Tapu Fini, and maybe even though he switched out, there's a possibility I should have attacked Aggron because I needed to learn its set, because I need to know if I can switch into it with Toxapex, or if I have to switch into it with Skarmory. I need to scout its 3 moves because if it does have Thunder Punch, it basically 6-0s my entire team. But he Grass Knots for some reason. I don't know what he was expecting, but we can Venom Shock just for 23%. You can see if we get this poison, we'll like near 2-hit KO it with poison damage and Venom Shock damage. So he goes straight back into Aggron just to take a Venom Shock, but I predict that switch and just set up another Toxic Spike. And here he Rock Slides, and we finally get like a insight onto his set, and that's it. That's definitely max attack Adamant, and the Rock Slide shows that he probably has Rock Slide, Iron Head, and I'm thinking Thunder Punch, and Thunder Punch damage is so little on Toxapex that Toxapex, I'm basically comfortable now knowing that Toxapex walls this Aggron for free, and it just, you know, aggron can be used as just a chance to recover or whatever, and we can try and scald and get the burn, but we don't get the burn. Does a good 20% damage though, and he misses a rock slide, which is pretty unfortunate, but it wouldn't have done much, and we can recover the damage off pretty easily, and we don't get the burn. So here he goes into Tapu Fini just to set up the terrain again. Maybe I should have expected that, because that's why I wasn't getting scald burns. Silly, but I should have expected that. And here, again, I should have known he wouldn't stay in, but I Venom Shock anyway, as he doesn't do much, so we would have done more damage to the Manectric, which would have been nice. And here, I switched into my Florges, even though I know he's going to Volt Switch and it's just going to weaken Florges, but he actually Thunderbolt, so I was lucky there that he didn't Volt Switch, because if he kept up the momentum, I can't let Florges get weak, and if he keeps Volt Switching I will. So I set up my Wish here, and like, I felt like it was quite obvious that I would protect here, because I couldn't let my Florges at 60%, because like a T-Bolt crit plus a regular T-Bolt would then pick it off. So I just protect to get the health back, and he makes an aggressive play into his Manectric, which lets me get all my health back. And here, at full health, knowing that nothing this Manectric can really threaten me, I get to just fire off a Moonblast for more damage. And because it's no Spadef aggron, it doesn't actually take it that well. It takes the 21%. So this aggron's looking nearly done. It can take 2 hits from Florges, 2 hits from Toxapex, that's about it. So he Thunderwaves my Toxapex, so that's not an issue unless I get fully parried. The speed's not an issue. And here he goes into his Tapu Fini, his Ice Scald, and it does, you know, negligible damage. It's really just not enough leftover so that the toxic damage racks up a little bit. And again, I think I Venom Shock at this point. Again, should Scald, but because knowing that he's not going to stay in, and that bounces off Umbreon, and I make a good aggressive switch into my Alakazam, knowing that he's going to Wish, but then I make a bad play. As you'll see, I Encore as he switches into his Aggron, which was a really stupid play. I should have switched out to my Zarwai here, because there was no way he was going to stay in with his Umbreon and try and foul play me, because foul play's not even a 2-hit KO on an Alakazam. And if I had Encored him into Wish, like, he had only lost 1%, and he had this like near dead Mega Aggron, which was still important to him. So I should have made a double into something that took advantage of that. I just Encore here, and it's wasted, and this Aggron gets back to full health basically. So I switch out back into my Toxapex, because like, I know that this can do nothing to me. He shows Iron Head over Heavy Slam, which I was a bit surprised about, but you know, no big deal. And he switches into his Tapu Fini here, and I Scald again. I don't know why I don't realise he goes into Tapu Fini every time the terrain's down, not making sure his Aggron doesn't get burned. And here I did Scald. This is where I worked out that he wasn't going to keep it. It would be far too long to work it out. I would have Scalded. This would have done a big chunk to this, but you know, T-Wave does what T-Wave does, and I switch out for Regenerator, get into my Florges here, and he Volt Switches out, and this is where Florges is getting scarily weak, like at 50%. It's quite scary. So he goes into his Aggron, we go straight back into our Toxapex. I got into Skarmory here because I knew that, like, because my Florges was so low at this point, I knew that I had to somehow punish this Manectric from just Volt Switching constantly, because I have to basically force it into T-Bolt so that my Florges can beat it 1v1, because if he keeps Volt Switching about, Florges will get chipped down, then he goes into his Aggron, and I can't heal on Aggron, so it'll keep getting chipped down slowly. So I have to go into Skarmory and just start setting up my hazards so that this Manectric is punished for Volt Switching around. And but he does make the switch straight back into his Manectric. So I go Cryogonal here, not wanting to risk Florges as he T-Bolts. And because it's a Spadef for Roserade, well, bulky for Roserade, we take it quite well. And I just Rapid Spin away our rocks. It does nothing to the Aggron, but gets rid of the rocks on our side so that Florges can slightly switch in better. And we go straight into our Toxapex here, because I know that, you know, he T-Waves again. I think if he was wanting to hit Cryogonal, he should have Iron Headed, but there, and he goes back in, sets up his Mystery Terrain, and the spikes are starting to make this thing near useless now. It's not done anything in the battle at all apart from set up Mystery Terrain, but it's getting so pressured by this Toxapex. His whole team's getting pressured by the Toxapex, but we make a double into Florges here, I don't know why, I think I expected Nature's Madness to come out from the Tapu Fini, and this was the best thing to take a Nature's Madness. So I make the aggressive play into my Zard, knowing that he's got Iron Head. We take nothing from it, and at this point, because like the hazards we have up, Umbreon gets 2-hit KO'd even with the Protect, I think, and Infernape takes about 70% from a Fire Blast, Aerodactyl takes about 50, so basically whatever he sends in here is near sack, so he decides to sack his Mega Aggron to the Fire Blast. Maybe he thought I would Solar Beam expecting Tapu Fini to come in, but it died to a Fire Blast anyway after spikes and toxic damage. So we pick up our first kill, and it finally, after 30 turns, we break the deadlock, and he goes into his Aerodactyl, which Revenge kills Charizard very well. We go into Skarmory here, and I was really worried about Fire Fang in the sun, but because he's Rock Slide, if he'd been Stone Edge and Fire Fang, I think a Stone Edge plus a Fire Fang could have killed, but because he's Rock Slide, we can live a Fire Fang and roost off the damage, but he Rock Slides again, which just shows he doesn't have the Fire Fang, so knowing that, this is just like set up fodder for Skarmory. Like it can set up our Stealth Rocks or our spikes on it, but I decided to Iron Head here. Didn't want to get like flinched down by the Rock Slide, and expecting his switch out, I set up another layer of hazards. We go with Stealth Rock this time, which really gives this Tapu Fini not many more switch-ins, knowing that it'll take 30% through hazards and toxic just for switching in. And I knew I could take any hit here. I was more expecting Nature's Madness over Scald, but I wanted to just keep getting those hazards up because Manectric was still looking like a bit of a threat. Like I felt like Manectric could still win the game because I'd worked out that it was Scarf now, so it was like if it can get Florges down, it's like T-Bolt beats Alakazam, T-Bolt beats Zard, T-Bolt beats Toxapex. It's in a range where it only takes 2 T-Bolts to take out Cryogonal and 2 T-Bolts to take out Alakazam, so Manectric was looking really threatening, so I had to make sure that like I couldn't let it Volt Switch around. I had to get my hazards up. And it also means Tapu Fini dies to hazards on the way back in. So I go into my Toxapex just to wall whatever it wants to do. I know I can't get burned because of the paralysis, and I'm not sure what I do this turn. We'll just see. He goes into his Manectric, and it takes. That's why we were setting up the hazards, because it takes a lot, and then a Scald on top of that now puts it in range of coming back in on hazards, and I can switch into my Cryogonal. And here, T-Bolt does 31%, and I'm at 31%. I should have gone to Florges because I could have put Cryogonal around, and well, I thought like somehow if like he crit both his T-Bolts, maybe my Florges could die, so I didn't want to do that because Cryogonal, like, it's outsped by Manectric, so it beats it. It doesn't touch Umbreon. Umbreon like bounces off hits. Aerodactyl outspeeds it, and so does Infernape, so I thought it wasn't important, so I just stayed in to fire off a freeze dry in case we lived it, but he picks us off, and that lets us just go into our Florges, wish off the damage, and then click Moonblast just so that Florges can pick up this kill on the Manectric, and get back up to about 75% after wish and leftovers. And here he goes into his Infernape, and I thought about this turn for a little while because like if he Z Earthquakes, I do another Earthquake after it. I'm pretty sure I have to be in, take the Z Earthquake, click recover, and then be able to beat it. So I contemplated going to my Skarmory, but I made the play into Toxapex. I thought he was safe because if he was a Z Crystal, I felt like he would go for Flare Blitz first because he wouldn't expect the Shucker Berry. So after Flare Blitz damage, then a Z Earthquake would take us out. But so I did go on my Toxapex here, and at this point I should have probably scouted the Z Earthquake and gone into Skarmory, but I don't think I did. I went into Charizard Y because it took a Flare Blitz. It would have lived the Flare Blitz, and his Stealth Rocker was dead, so it was fine. And it also dodged the Earthquake, so I did make the good play. Got my Zard in. This offers just a free switch into the Aerodactyl, and I go into my Toxapex. And because he never Earthquaked there, I felt like it was fine to go Toxapex because we didn't need a Shucker Berry, and I can just pick off this Aerodactyl with the Venoshock. And with all these hazards now, it is in a really difficult situation for him. We have 5 on 2. See, Umbreon just coming in and it loses like 30 odd %. So I go into my Florges here is he sets up a wish and he toxics me here, and then this is when I kind of noticed maybe I should have had aromatherapy over grassy terrain because he didn't have the earthquake. But all hindsight, because if he did have the earthquake I would have wanted the grassy terrain. But Moonblast isn't actually doing as much as I thought it would be. It's only doing 35%, and because I'm toxic now, I can't really stall him out, so I have to do a little bit of switching, trying to, because Alakazam's at full, I can waste a couple of turns of toxic with Alakazam, because I knew that foul play was doing nothing. I Psyshock expecting Infernape to come in, because I'd shown I was willing to encore him into Wish, but he never made the play. And I go back into Florges here because his resets are toxic, and his toxic is going like up to 30%. It's going to keep racking up. He's going to end up killing himself. So here he goes into Infernape as we Moonblast, and I do crit him. Like, it doesn't matter, like no Infernape lives that, apart from maybe like max HP, max Spadef, Assault Vest. And then after all the hazards, and Florges can pick up the Umbreon with the Moonblast, and that gives us a nice 5-0 victory to take us to 2-0 in the APA, looking strong. 2-0 plus 7. So thanks for watching, thanks to John for a great battle, see you guys next week.